And we're back. All right. All right. I'm going to let Dave tell his 3-minute story. And then I'm going to dismantle him. All right? All right.
And what I remember most about that night was the pressure. Before the show, I had to run out there on the avenue and hand out tickets to anybody who would take them because I couldn't even fill the fucking room. Boy, what a difference 24 short years makes. And right before that time, my father had died. He never lived to see me do it. And when he died, I was inconsolable. I thought I'd never smile or laugh again. And the only thing that got me out of that space was a comedian friend of mine, the late, great Norm Macdonald. That's right. Shout out to Norm. And what Norm did, which I'll never forget, is he knew that I was the biggest Jim Carrey fan in the world. Now, I'm not going to go all into it, but Jim Carrey is talented in a way that you can't practice, rehearse. What a God-given talent. I was fascinated with him. And Norm knew that. And he called me up and he goes, Dave, he says, I'm doing a movie with Jim Carrey. Do you want to meet him? And I said, fuck, yes, I do. And it was the first time I could remember since my father died being excited. And the movie was called Man on the Moon. I didn't know any of this. And in this movie, Jim Carrey was playing another comedian I admired, the late, great Andy Kaufman. Yes, and Jim Carrey was so immersed in that role that from the moment he woke up to the time he went to bed at night, he would live his life as Andy Kaufman. I didn't know that. When they said cut, this nigga was still Andy Kaufman. So much so that everybody on the crew called him Andy. I didn't know any of that. I just went there to meet him, and when he walked into the room where we were supposed to meet, I screamed, Jim Carrey! And everyone said, no! Call him Andy. And I didn't understand. And then he came over and he was acting weird. I didn't know he was acting like Andy Kaufman. Just like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, hello. Andy? Now, in hindsight, how fucking lucky am I that I got to see one of the greatest artists of my time immersed in one of his most challenging processes ever. Very lucky to have seen that. But as it was happening, I was very disappointed. Because I wanted to meet Jim Carrey, and I had to pretend this nigga was Andy Kaufman all afternoon. And he was clearly Jim Carrey. I could look at him and I could see he was Jim Carrey. Anyway, I say all that to say, that's how trans people make me feel.
You are a piece of shit. I'm more angry the second time I watched this. And it's like he respected Jim Carrey. He didn't go, hey, you're Jim Carrey. You're not Andy Kaufman. I don't find him funny. But like, so Jim Carrey wanted to be Andy Kaufman for the movie. He wanted to get into the character and immerse himself, and that's how he felt at the time. That's how Jim Carrey felt. He felt like Andy Kaufman. And Dave Chappelle respected that. Huh. He respected it. He even got through telling you how lucky he was in hindsight to meet such a good actor who was immersed in that role. He didn't say, hey, you're not Andy Kaufman, you're Jim Carrey. They're not rolling, they fucking just cut. What are you doing, dude? He didn't, no. He gave him respect. That's all. Like, you don't know how people feel inside. You don't know if they want to be this one day or if they want to be that the next day. And guess what? You can be whatever the F you want. That's the part that got me, though. It was like, he would respect Jim Carrey wanting to be somebody else for whatever, how long he wanted to be. Months probably took to film the movie. So for months, Jim Carrey was somebody else. But someone else, a non-famous person, Chappelle's not given any quarter to. It's just like boggles my mind. Again, how he, who is a black person, who I know undoubtedly has experienced racism in society trying to marginalize him and his people, how he can ascend to where he is now and do the same thing to other people who are now being marginalized. Like, what? This dude is not funny. He is a undercover Christian plant. I never liked him before any of this trans shit. I never liked Dave Chappelle because to me he was the opposite of Archie Bunker. He was just telling racist jokes from the other side like it's like 1970. Is he talented? Yes. I laughed just from his facial expressions. The dude is a funny man, but he also has an agenda. And to me it reeks of biblical intent. And I could even go deeper than that and say, well, since he's black, his family has been subjected and made to be Christian, stripped away any sort of African religions and stuff that they came over here with, and you must become Christian. I could talk about that and say that he's kind of oppressed right now, and maybe that's why he's a moron. But I won't, because you know what? I don't feel like giving Dave that quarter. I don't feel like giving him, a place to be safe. Because it seems like he just, you know, you can apply that to who you feel like and who you don't feel like. What a piece of shit. I can't describe it any other way. You are a piece of shit. All right.